The first job I get in film is going to dictate the rest of my career, which is completely wrong. You can start in any position in film and still get where you want to go. But here is where people get it wrong. You're not getting stuck because of the first job you took in film. You're getting stuck because of what you didn't do after you got hired. Let's talk about what being pigeonholed is. When you're pigeonholed, you are always going to be thought of in a certain position. For example, when I was in college, my professor told me, watch out for being pigeonholed. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, when you, for example, want to get to be a DP and you're going up the camera ladder and you start as a second AC, well, people get to know you as a really good second AC. And then moving up that ladder gets harder and harder and harder because people are like, wow, she's a really good second, but I don't really trust her as a first AC, a first assistant camera, so I don't want to give her the chance to move up yet. They don't know you as another position that you haven't done. So this is why people are like, I have to make the right move. There's a little bit of anxiety there of like,
the first job I get in film is going to dictate the rest of my career.
Which is completely wrong. Don't get me wrong, this has happened to some people, and I know you've heard this, that some people get stuck in the same position over and over and over again. So this does happen. But being pigeonholed and getting stuck in a certain position is not punishment. It's a default.
But being pigeonholed and getting stuck in a certain position is not punishment. It's a default.
It's not there people are going to be purposely putting you in the same position because they want to torture you. It's because they know you as that position. People in production are going to remember you for the thing that they know that you're good at. If you're good at that one thing, they're going to keep using you as that one thing. So how are we getting out of being stuck or pigeonholed into a certain position that you don't want to stay in? Now, I'm not saying that the position that you're in, that you're stuck in, is bad, but if you don't want to stay there, it's bad for you. So how do we get out of this? The number one way that you are going to get unstuck and get to the position you want to be in, or at least climb the ladder to the position you ultimately want to be in, is you have to talk about it. Silence is going to be the thing that keeps you stuck. So you need to talk about where you want to go. You need to express interest in the position that you want to do. For example, let's just stay with the camera department. What you're going to do is you're going to start as a loader or a second AC, and then you need to make sure that you're expressing interest. Like, yes, I want to learn how to focus pull. I want to learn how to use the remote focus puller. I want to learn what you do. So on your off time, can you train me XYZ? Can you give me tips here and there? What do I have to do? So you're expressing interest. This is exactly what I did when I was a walkie PA and I wanted to learn how to be a key PA. And I made sure to tell my ADs that and my key PA that. So they knew what my goals were and they made sure to give me those tandem days as a key PA. And the key PA knew to rely on me more because he knew what I wanted. So he gave me more responsibility in that area. And if I didn't express that I wanted to be a key PA, then they probably would have never given me that opportunity or that responsibility. So you need to talk about and express interest in where you want to go. You need to be the one that looks out for you. No one is looking out for your career as closely as you are. So you need to make sure that you're keeping tabs and you're expressing yourself in where you want to go. The job title that you have is going to matter way less than perception. So for example, I was a key PA on the Equalizer, and the way I held myself is I was in that AD confidence, meaning, ADs are higher than key PAs, and there's a certain wisdom and maturity that go along with being an assistant director versus when you're a PA. Now, when I was a key PA, a lot of people already saw me as an AD. And it's because I held myself that way. I didn't have a timid demeanor. I didn't have, argumentative vibes about me. I made sure to hold myself as an AD because I wanted people to see me as that, to make sure that when I was ready for that position, that they hired me as that. While you may be in one position, how you are perceived could get you to that next position. Tell the story. Tell the story of what you actually want to be. Don't just fall into, well, I'm a camera loader and that's it. That's all I'm going to handle. So it's all about the story you're telling with how you act, your intentions, what you're saying, how you're holding yourself. Repeated behavior, the things that you do over and over and over again, is what is going to be your identity. The things that you do, the things that you say is your pattern, right? And the more you do certain things in a pattern, the more people notice those patterns. So think about what you are doing when you're on set, how you're handling things, how you're speaking, how you're acting, what your body language is. All of this is going to be tapped into awareness, obviously, but it's going to have people perceive you in a certain way. So whatever patterns you are showing them is what they are going to think about you. I'm going to talk about skills here because a lot of people think that, well, if I've gained the skills and I do all the courses and classes and whatever to get me into that position to make sure I can do the job, that is what's going to get me into that hired position. And that's not exactly true, because sometimes you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have a conversation about the skills you've gained, then where does it get you? You can take the training, you can get the skills, you can work on certain things, but if you don't have the conversation with the person who could potentially hire you and say, yeah, I've been working on my camera skills, and I really am working on being a camera operator, and I've worked on composition and all these things. If you don't have the conversation about the skills that you've gained, about the training you've taken or certifications you've gained, no one knows about it and no one can hire you to go further into the higher position that you want to be in. Skills are not going to move you forward on their own. You need to have conversations about them. So again, you have to talk to people. You have to talk about what you're doing and where you want to go. I know some of you might be thinking like, well, how do I say no to certain things? How do I prevent myself from being pigeonholed? How do I get unstuck without burning bridges? Now, there is a way to do it, and it's just, you don't have to say yes to everything. You can start saying no to certain positions. A lot of friends of mine who are trying to transition from PA to AD, for example, a friend of mine who I worked with, he was taking job after job after job, and he said yes to everything. And then one day he was like, I have to stop taking PA jobs. I'm an AD now. I'm in the DGA. Therefore, I'm only going to start taking AD jobs. And while the AD offers were not coming in, what he was doing was he was telling people, he goes, I'm in the DGA now. I'm just only taking AD work. The calls definitely slowed down, but that didn't prevent him from obviously getting hired as an AD later on, because now people knew that he was an AD and he wasn't taking PA work. So when AD positions came around, they would hire him to be an AD. So you're not like burning bridges and quitting on a certain job. So if you say yes to a job and you're like, okay, well, this is a position I don't want to be in right now, finish the job. Finish the job. Nice. Just finish what you committed to. And then for the next one, that is where you're going to steer in that direction that you want to be in, if it's a higher position or not. So I wouldn't just say, okay, quitting a job or leaving, jumping ship to another job to get to the higher position. So just make sure that you are saying what you want to do. Don't say yes to everything, and you can say no. You can start saying no to certain things and making sure that you are vying for yourself and you're standing up for yourself and being like, yes, I want to take this position. These are the positions I'm looking for now. This is a very, very weird situation that people can find themselves in. So if you want to talk directly to me about it, I do one-on-one sessions. That link will be in the description below for you. And it's really hard sometimes to navigate these waters, so I get it. If you need extra help, I'm here for you. You definitely can start anywhere on set and get wherever you want to go. You just have to make sure you're keeping in mind and you stay intentional with who you're talking to, have those conversations, talk about your goals, where you want to be in film, and you will get where you want to go.